Dungannon, County Tyrone, has erupted in violence over the past couple of days because we, north and south of this border, have been sold out.
I'll put you.
They said that.
Show me your weapon, boy. Show me your weapon. Show me your weapon there.
Nice fuck, no?
Just look at that. Just look at that in 2026 in Dungannon, County Tyrone, Northern Ireland. Gangs of men moving through a residential estate with knives, bats, clubs, windows smashed, doors attacked, a man sent to hospital, families in absolute fear, hiding behind curtains, while gangs turned their quiet residential estate into a battlefield. And the political class will call that an incident. An incident! That's not an incident. That there is a warning. At around 7:15 Monday evening, police were called to Killyman Road after reports of roughly 10 men armed with knives and bats were attacking a property. Windows were smashed, the front door was damaged. Later, near Newell Road, police encountered another large gathering of men who were also carrying bats, knives and clubs. One man was left with cuts to his hands and face. 4 arrests followed. That there is the official account of what happened. That's not gossip. That's not rumour. That's not innuendo. No, that's official. Knives, bats, clubs, windows smashed, doors attacked, people in hospital. Now, the local representatives, political representatives on the ground, have come out and made various statements stating that this violence involved rival gangs of East Timorese men fighting each other, and that fighting supposedly spilled over from their areas into other estates. Watch the group in the background. Watch the weapons. Watch the police arrive. Now watch where the officer goes. Now, we do not know every second before the camera started here, or indeed the identity of every man there, but we know what ordinary people see. They see police moving through the larger group of men and bearing down on the man holding sticks. And once again, the message appears to be the authorities cannot control the problem, but by God, they can control the reaction to it. And that right there is why trust is broken and why many people, including me, believe that the social contract is now broken. You see, the state's first duty is not to lecture us on our Facebook posts or police what we say on X. No, its first duty, its first and foremost duty is to protect us, to take care of us. We give that power to the state, we give our arms up to the state, and part of that bargain is that the state in turn will protect us from roving gangs of armed men roving around menacingly our peaceful estates where we have to live with our women and children. And when the state fails in that basic duty, it has no right, in my opinion, to act in any way shocked when frightened residents step outside their own front door, their own garden gate, and try to defend themselves. But let's talk about Dungannon. Dungannon that you saw there didn't just magically arrive here. That town was absolutely transformed by employers. You see, the employers wanted cheap labour and lots of it. Politicians, they wanted applause, as they always do. The diversity industry wanted another success story. Yes, Dungannon has certain, shall we say, businesses, factories. They wanted lots of cheap labour and they wanted it quick and fast. They wanted a steady stream and they got it. They got it. And lo and behold, large numbers, hundreds of people from particularly East Timor were brought in. Of Dungannon's 16,000 population, 1 in 9 was a person from East Timor. So the industrialists got their cheap labour. But who asked whether the housing situation could cope? Who asked about the schools? Who asked about the health service needs? Who asked about the police service needs? Who asked about whether tensions and imported feuds might arrive along with the workforce? Yes, the companies got what they wanted. They got the labour force. The politicians, they got to signal their virtue. The NGOs got another reason to exist. And the people of Dungannon got smashed windows and armed gangs of foreign men roaming around their streets with knives and bats. And the moment you or anybody objected, they had the old reliable word ready. Racist. Concerned about housing? Racist. Concerned about crime? Racist. Concerned about borders? Racist. Concerned that your children can no longer safely walk through their own estate? Apparently, you know the answer to that one as well as I do. You are a racist, and you are the problem. But now let's hear from Sinn Féin, the so-called leaders of Irish republicanism, nationalism in Northern Ireland. But for many of us, and more people are waking up to this, Sinn Féin... Yes, many more people are starting to think that because, as far as I'm concerned, it's true. Let's have a look at a motion passed at their own Ardèche a few years ago. This is not something invented by their opponents. This is an actual motion passed at the Sinn Féin Ardèche in April 1988. It supported an immediate amnesty for all asylum seekers in the 26 counties. Then it declared that Sinn Féin would work towards no restriction on immigration into Ireland. No restriction. No controlled immigration. No immigration matched to housing, policing and services. No restriction. So spare us the performance when people describe Sinn Féin as an open borders party, because it is. They wrote it, they voted for it, they passed it, and unless they can show where it was formally reversed, the evidence remains there in black and white. And guess what? They can't show you because it doesn't exist. They never reversed it. They still believe it. They still want it. And that's why I say they are traitors and they are selling out their own. These are the people who found their voices oh so quickly over the events in Moygashel, which many people, shall we say, of my tribe were fully behind. Yes, a cardboard or wooden depiction of a mosque on top of a bonfire, and all of a sudden the usual suspects, people supposed to represent we the people, are all in a flap, all in a tailspin, clutching their pearls. How can this go on? How can this be? This is the worst thing ever. But then we have seemingly groups of foreign men roving around residential streets, armed to the teeth. And suddenly the same political class discovers calm language. Oh, community tensions, deep concerns, an unfortunate incident. No, this is the bill coming due for payment. These are the consequences of policies imposed on communities that were never asked, never allowed to say no, had no veto. There can be no veto, they tell you. Nobody has a right to veto who lives next door to you. Nobody has a right to veto who's parachuted into your community. But here is what they fear most. Not another loyalist riot, not another nationalist protest, no. They fear orange and green looking at one another and realising they've been played, because they have. Realising they've been sold out, because they have. They fear a loyalist family in Dungannon or Moygashel having the same anger and fears as a nationalist family in Dublin. They fear Protestants and Catholics comparing notes. Because while ordinary people were fighting for generations over flags, parades, King Billy, Bobby Sands, The political class were changing the whole game without telling everybody. The political class were selling us all out, green and orange. The brother wars suited them. They kept us divided whilst they passed the laws, while they made the policies, whilst they influxed hundreds of thousands of people into our land that we didn't ask for and we didn't vote for. But I say enough. Just as I said in my Gashel videos, enough. No more brother wars. The hour is late. No more Protestant against Catholic, Republican against Loyalist. Both communities are now being ignored. We are both being sold down the river by people who don't give a damn about us. The working class loyalist is not the enemy of the working class nationalist. The family beneath the Union Jack is in the same boat now as the family beneath the tricolour. The same housing crisis, the same failing services, the same crime epidemic, the same political cowardice, and the same contempt for us ordinary people. This is the unity they fear. Not a unity handed down by these lofty ivory tower politicians. No, the unity that comes from the people themselves. The unity that comes from reality. So I say let them hear it. Let them hear it loud and clear. From Dungannon to Dublin. From Moygashel to Cork. From Belfast to Galway. We can argue about flags later. We can argue about 1690 and 1916 later. But for now, what I'm saying and what I'm pleading for is we need to come together. We need to unite. No more brother wars. We together have an island to save.